Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe on this Sunday. Always a good Sunday after a Chelsea win on the Saturday. And today going to be focusing on that really. Some key performers, Mason Mount, Thomas Tuchel heaping praise on Chelsea's player of the season. Also Timo Werner matching a record set by Eden Hazard at Stamford Bridge. But before we get into any of that good stuff, I want to ask you guys, hit that like button because it helps new people find the channel. And if you want more Chelsea content, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads on the channel. But last night's win, King Kai Havertz, 2 goals for him, a big double. And, I think Kai Havertz, is great to see him finding form and confidence at the back end of what has been a difficult season for him, a difficult first season at Chelsea. Still such a young player, but such a huge talent. And we saw last night why Chelsea spent all of last summer trying to get that deal done, spent over a year trying to bring Kai Havertz to Stamford Bridge, and I think that number 9 role suits him so much better, and sort of ghosting in and the movement, the demeanour of Kai Havertz, the fact, if you look at his career, and I remember speaking about this way back at the start of the season, at Bayer Leverkusen, he always seems to get better in the second half of the season. Now, during his career, if he wants to be a big player for Chelsea, I think he has to change that and hit form earlier in the season and maintain it over the course of 9 months. But he's hitting form at the right time. He's scoring key goals for us. You think about the goal he scored against Crystal Palace, a really good performance. The goal against Everton last month, where the first time really we saw Kai as this number 9, and it's great to see. You guys voted him your man of the match in the poll I put on my community page last night. Kai Havertz with 79% of the vote, and Mason Mount was second, Edouard Mendy third. But it was exciting as well seeing a new formation for Thomas Tuchel, in particular in that first half. It was only really for 45 minutes because at half-time, Tuchel then reverted to the usual 3-4-2-1 that he's used majority of the time at Chelsea so far. But this new formation that I delved into last night, I think is really intriguing. It was risky, I think, from Thomas Tuchel, but I think the risk paid off given sort of the approach from Fulham in that 4-4-2 formation. They pressed us high, they left space in behind to exploit, and I think it helped certain attacking players really flourish for Chelsea last night. And in the end, we got the win, we got the clean sheet. But looking at this formation, Billy Gilmour as a lone 6, Mason Mount and Ziyech ahead of him as sort of number 8s. And we'll have to see sort of next season with 2 forwards as well. Will this be something we see replicated maybe with new signings? So that's something to touch on as well. I just want to pick up one other stat. Edouard Mendy, of course, another clean sheet. Two or 3 big saves last night, and this is from Squawka, just talking about Mendy. He made no fewer than 3 saves against Fulham, en route to a 16th clean sheet across 28 league outings. In the race for the Premier League's Golden Glove, only Man City shot stopper Ederson has kept more shutouts. That said, of all keepers to have started at least 25 games in league history, Mendy is the only number 1 to keep a 0 in more than half of them, 57%. And for me, this sort of summarises and rubber stamps me why Chelsea do not need to buy a new goalkeeper. I know there have been many talks about Donnarumma, and I can understand people's excitement about that, but that is not an area Chelsea need to be investing a lot of money in. And it's more proof, once again, I keep on reiterating this on the channel in regards to transfer. It's another transfer where Chelsea haven't sort of broken the bank for a key position, but it's really worked out. It's great to see Chelsea sign someone that isn't obvious, that not a lot of us knew about sort of in the summer. He wasn't one of those big goalkeeping names that we discussed on the channel, but has worked out so wonderfully for the club and has provided so much value in such a key position. And let's hope he can clinch that Golden Glove, because it would really, I think, be such a big statement for him, and I think really solidifying his place as Chelsea's first choice goalkeeper at the moment. But let's look at the table. Chelsea 6 points clear of West Ham, who don't play till Monday night against Burnley. Liverpool away to United. I'm pretty sure, depending on timing of when this video goes up, you guys may be watching that game or at least know the result. And of course we play Leicester, who we are only now 2 points behind after they dropped points to Southampton in a 1-1 draw on Friday. And just looking at our remaining fixtures here, 6 scheduled. As we know of, a magical 7th could be added if Chelsea get a great result on Wednesday night, and we may be travelling to Istanbul to conclude our 2020-21 season. Of course, got the second leg against Real Madrid on Wednesday. Man City away. Man City could win the Premier League title on that day against Chelsea, depending on, of course, the Man United-Liverpool game today. If Liverpool win, then Man City will be crowned champions. Arsenal at home, Leicester in the FA Cup final, then Leicester again midweek in the Premier League, which seems to be a deciding game in terms of the top four, and Aston Villa on the final day. Just in terms of the Premier League, which I'm going to focus on right now, I think Chelsea need officially like 9 points, I think it is, from their remaining 4 Premier League games to get the job done and confirm top 4. I actually think it may be less than that we'll need, actually, because of course we play Leicester in and could clinch third place, because we know Leicester, their nerves in recent seasons and their injuries, and I think about West Ham struggling to win games. I actually think Chelsea may need 6 or 7 to get the job done. Of course, we want to win every single game, but I just think the intensity of the schedule, the focus on the FA Cup, the focus on the Champions League, some tough games were in there. I mean, I look at the Arsenal game, I look at Leicester and Villa, I look at the games beyond Man City as those games Chelsea should be winning, and that will absolutely confirm sort of our place in the top 4 for next season and getting into the Champions League once again. Of course, we could just win the whole thing this season and make sure there's no concerns over top 4, which we've done before, but those are my thoughts on the running. Let me know your thoughts on the remaining games of the season. That could include, as I say, another game in Istanbul. But let's focus on Money Mason Mount. Outstanding player, Chelsea's player of the season. Thomas Tuchel was speaking about him after the game yesterday. This is from Sky Sports, some of his comments. Thomas Tuchel labels Chelsea star Mason Mount the full package after 2-0 win over Fulham. This is what he had to say: he has the full package mentally, in terms of talent and physically, and the most important part is his character. He has his feet on the ground and he's a nice guy. He comes to Cobham every day to learn something new and have new experiences. He is the guy who can recover very fast. He's a very physical player and he's fully adapted to Premier League football. It's impressive. He's not affected by all the praise. This is maybe the most important part. He seems to be a guy who likes the sport and feels an obligation to make the most out of it, and he wants it absolutely badly. So it's a top mix. About Mason Mount, outstanding player. I mean, I'm running out of ways to praise Mason Mount. His form this season has just been incredible. He is Chelsea's player of the season. If he's not, I think we should just scrap the award, because I'm judging it over 9 months, and I think that, Mendy is, I think, the second choice here, given his consistency and improvement in a key area over the season. But given Mason Mount's age, given where he is in his career, how good he is, how mature he is, how he's an essential player for Chelsea, it seems every time I watch him play, he gets better in all facets of his game. I think the fact that he's had to deal with a manager who, in the first half of the season, really trusted him was a big part of his development at Derby to leave. But then reassert himself, the mental side of the game, I think too, that Mason just excels at. The mentality of Mason Mount is just one of those things that takes him to the top, and I think makes him Chelsea's outstanding player. He is so key. And looking at his performance more in depth, 40 passes in a game, including the all-important assist. This is from Who Scored his passing map last night, all over the pitch. So essential to what we do in terms of build-up, in terms of pressing as well. Just such a key player for us. And this here from On Form Football, which goes into a little bit more in depth of Mason Mount here, with his stats yesterday. 50 touches, 1 key pass, 87.2% pass accuracy, 1 assist. Mason's performance last night was an Eden Hazard level performance. I hate using the term world class because I think it means very little nowadays, because people use it for everything. But if Eden, it was the type of performance where Eden used to put in very consistently, where he wouldn't score a goal, but he'd do something in the game where he's just clearly one of the best players we have, and is the best player we have, is so key to everything we do. And the technique, and also the coolness of Mason in that first goal, to take the ball down. I spoke about this last night, to take the ball down, but then also have the vision and the execution to play that pass, to not overhit it. I see so many players will do something brilliant, but then that final pass is lacking. We think about, say, Mateo Kovacic does a lot of great work getting into the final third, but then his final pass is lacking. That's not the case with Mason Mount, and that's what makes him such an exceptional player at such a young age. He is essential to Chelsea. He's our player of the season. I think all facets of his game, in terms of the way he develops, he's the perfect character, and I just love watching him play for Chelsea, and it's great to see the way he's developed this season. Let me know your opinions on Mason Mount passing 100 appearances for Chelsea against Real Madrid. Let me know your thoughts on his career at Chelsea this season as well in the comments below. And as well, Timo Werner, Adam Newson, who I had on the channel from Football London last week, wrote this piece post-match yesterday, speaking about Timo Werner and the Eden Hazard feat Timo Werner matched ahead of Chelsea's second leg against Real Madrid. He was referencing Mesut Ozil in the first part of his piece, but he says, now there is a new assist king in London, and he too is German, who wears the number 11. The problem is it was never supposed to be this way. When Chelsea opted to spend 49.5 million to sign Timo Werner from RB Leipzig last summer, the Blues were doing so for one reason: goals. The former RB Leipzig star took a touch, waited for Havertz to glide through Scott Parker's defence, and then slipped the ball through to his teammate to finish. It was a lovely through pass from Werner, one Ozil would have been proud of. That was Werner's 10th assist of the campaign, and means in his debut season at Stamford Bridge, one in which the forward has hugely frustrated, he has reached double figures in goals and assists. The last player to do that in his maiden Chelsea campaign, one Eden Hazard. And I think that Adam brings up a great point, and please read the full article, link in the description box below, in terms of what Werner does bring. I mean, we've been speaking in recent days about his finishing and the frustration over the lack of goals this season and the amount of big chances missed, which is a frustration. And I think you have to have nuance when discussing all players, but in particular Timo Werner, analysing what he does to help the team creatively, to have a faster front three, which is what clearly Tuchel wants, a more fluid front three, and Timo Werner definitely operates in that fashion. And you see the big assist he set up this season, Atletico Madrid. It seems quite a few of them for Hakim Ziyech. I mean, he could have had 2 assists last night. If you think about it, Ziyech had that great chance, and it was sort of mirroring from the other side the goal he set up for Ziyech, also in the FA Cup semi-final against Man City, but also for Hakim Ziyech in the Atletico Madrid second leg. So those two have a really good partnership. Once again, Mason Mount being the player to pass the ball through perfectly for Timo Werner to run onto and then lay it off to Hakim Ziyech. But I think that, you see that part of Werner's game. He's a hard worker. He doesn't let his head go down. He keeps on working hard. I think there are elements to his game in terms of build-up that I think could be a lot better in terms of his first touch. I think can be sloppy, and I think that sometimes moves do break down, I think, because of him. But for all the frustration we could have surrounding his finishing, when he's setting up goals like that for Kai Havertz to just roll in and secure the victory last night, very important in the Premier League, like he has in many big games recently, you have to praise Timo Werner on that side, but also understand the frustration surrounding his finishing. So it's a difficult dynamic at the moment, because I think, as Liam Toomey from The Athletic pointed out, Chelsea can't live without Timo Werner, but they can't live with him. They can't live without him because of what he offers all round in terms of his pace, in terms of his creativity in the final third, but can't live with him because of his big chance missed this season, really. And that's the big frustration. Of course, Tuchel is fully backing Timo Werner pre-game. He spoke about next season and insists Chelsea will improve with or without new signings. He spoke about Timo Werner being a 20 to 30 goal season striker. We haven't seen that from him this season. I still think, as I'll continue to reiterate, I think Chelsea do need a new striker, a new focal point. But if Timo can just improve even a little bit on the missed chances this season, his goal rate's going to go up massively next season. And let's hope with the likes of Werner, Ziyech, Havertz, maybe in a more normal season next year where fans can be inside the stadium to support them. Also just a normal year, hopefully, in football where it resorts to some sort of equilibrium, because it has been a difficult year, I think, for players, in particular moving countries during a global pandemic. I do want to bring that up because I think that's something that can be dismissed. And that's not dismissing Timo Werner's missed chances. I think he should have been putting them away. But I just think overall his feeling at Chelsea, hopefully an experience of having a manager like Tuchel backing him fully, will hopefully give him the confidence to move on next season and improve, because Chelsea need it if we want to compete for a Premier League title. But let me know your opinions about Timo Werner reaching that Eden Hazard record. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this episode of Let's Talk Chelsea. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also hit the like button because it helps out the channel as well. And I'll see you again.